any way I can. Even if it got to be mixed with Robitussin, I'm drinking some sort of Kool-Aid today, and I think Jameis is going to get it done.
Oh, how you feeling? Jameis is going to get it done?
Yeah, Jameis is going to.
Browns down. 1. Let's get it.
This guy's good.
Okay, you guys talk because I'm hearing double crossover.
You guys talk.
That's
now
fine.
we're watching. This is the
There
Cleveland
All right, we're all
Browns
set. G. Bush,
show.
Jameis Winston, 2-minute warning.
G. Bush
Is he going
talking
to
about
get
Jameis
the
Winston.
job done here for the Cleveland Browns?
Yep. You just saw the pass.
Oh, look, they're watching
to
this in real
Tillman.
time.
I think Jameis is ready to go. He said it was
ready to
divine
go?
intervention. He said
Divine
he was ready to go.
intervention.
He was praising the Lord this morning on a good Sunday, and Jameis is out here looking like he want to lead this drive. I'm trying to drink the Kool-Aid any way I can. Even if it got to be mixed with Robitussin, I'm drinking some sort of Kool-Aid today, and I think Jameis is going to get it done.
Oh, how you feeling? Jameis is going to get it done?
Yeah, Jameis is going to get it done. The Browns is playing us.
Yeah, Jones. Yeah, you can't. That's dumb. Okay, now we're watching the Cleveland's reaction. All right.
The only thing we don't want right here is any turnovers. We don't want to go for shot plays. We want to consistently move these chains and don't take sacks and giving them their yardage back.
Yeah, we're going to get into Jameis's entire start later. Drops back, hits Njoku for 5 yards, 6 yards. They're 3 yards shy of the projected field goal line on the CBS broadcast for Dustin Hopkins' range. But we'll talk about the injuries to the Browns defense. We'll talk about Jameis. We'll talk about the Jim Donovan effect and everything encompassing in there, the change of play callers.
Jim Donovan
when the game concludes. But there's a minute 21, guys, and the Browns defense has done a terrific job limiting Lamar Jackson and the Ravens offense. The Browns offense has done just enough at crucial times to put them in position right now, 2nd and 3.
Clock management right here, McNuggets. Right now, the Baltimore Ravens had to use a timeout. If you can get this first down, you pretty much secure the fact that Baltimore's got to stop the clock in order to get the ball back. They want some time to come and do their thing and get it and go back downfield.
He said on 2nd and 3, Pierre Strong flanked out to his right. Baltimore brings the blitz. They throw. Ooh, they try to throw a screen to Elijah Moore.
Live streaming.
I see the Lord's game.
I'm running the football. 2nd and 3. You run the ball. You may get 2 or 3 yards. They have to call another timeout. Now, you put yourself in a 3rd and 7 right now where you want to get a couple more yards to make this manageable. We're going to dial up. But hopefully, this is something where you can get some yards and make them have to make a decision.
I got a good feeling. Something good's going to happen here, G. I got a good feeling. Jameis has been waiting.
You got a good feeling something's going to happen. They're watching. McNuggets.
There it is. First down to Elijah Moore, who stayed in bounds to play. The
Browns
don't have the opportunity here, G, to run the clock down to essentially the final seconds of the field goal. This game's going to come.
Run the clock down. Right now, we're up here to
results of the quarterback change, right? 300 yards passing in this first start with the Cleveland Browns.
All right, this is what they have.
Deshaun Watson ain't did that. I think my hair probably just started growing the last time Deshaun Watson threw for 300
Look,
yards.
this guy.
You see the instant results.
They're all against.
Just
they all
everything
now
involved of how Kevin Stefanski had more control of the team. Right? The defense played lights out. Special teams played lights out. The Cleveland Browns offense played competent football all game long. And you just see like what a breath of fresh air can look like. And Jameis Winston, I know it's just one game, but Sean King was on our on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
The Ultimate Cleveland Sports
Show. He said, don't put a cap on what Jameis Winston can be. Jameis is only 30 years old. And if he proved himself serviceable, if he proved himself to be a leader,
Jameis is only 30 years old.
Well, capable of leading the Cleveland Browns to victory clearly like he did today and running this offense like he did today with Ken Dorsey as the play caller, then you have to consider Jameis Winston for 2025 and moving forward. You just have to.
2025. Yeah. That's very, very bad.
And, yesterday was a rough night for me. Just being in the industry and losing a lot of people. The mentors you grew up with, the BSKs, the the Michael Stanleys, the Les Levines of the world, and then you lose Jimmy Donovan, and it's like I felt so bad for him because at the time when he passed, this team was 1-6 and there was this big thing with the fans and the players just arguing back and forth and whose fault is it? And man, it was just so ugly and nasty. And for a guy to lose his bout with cancer, and just have to listen and to go out that way, that devoted his life to the Browns, and devoted his life to this fan base and to the Cleveland Browns in general. And it breaks my heart that every single time that we lose these individuals, we don't get a chance to see them have that joy to hoist the trophy and to be a playoff team. And guys are leaving here with, the Steelers and the Ravens always winning, and to devote that much time in your life for that and to not see it through it. It was just difficult for me, not to mention he was inspirational. He was one of the first people to ever reach out and say, hey man, I think you got potential. You're doing a great job. And for them to come out here today and get that win, I know he was looking. I know he helped knock that ball down. I mean, I know what type of energy it was, man. And man, I'm just so happy for today for his family to be able to see that. I'm just so happy that maybe this can be a rallying call for everybody in the Browns fandom. For everybody. We've been fighting. We feel like we didn't had a civil war for 5-7 years. And maybe we can get to a point where it's saying it ain't about I told you so's. It's about everybody getting together and seeing how great a win can feel. And never forget that, yes, this is a game. And there's more to things than life than this football game. But today, the Cleveland Browns are going to celebrate Jim Donovan. We celebrate his memory. We celebrate what he meant to the franchise. And I know Jimmy is looking, saying, boy, I tell you, who would have thought that we come in with all this stuff going on and we get a win 1-6 against the doggone Baltimore Ravens. So I want to thank Jimmy for looking down, and I pray that Browns fans can continue to move forward in unison and have more days like this.
Yeah, the one thing missing from a win like this is Jimmy Donovan call and being able to go back afterwards. And I know we're always on the post-game show, so we don't get to hear it live, but one of my favorite things to do after we used to get off these last year when the Browns were winning games was go check out what Jimmy had to say in the aftermath of a big Browns win, just like we do with Hamilton and the Guardians. Jimmy and the Browns was the same way. So obviously our thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family. He was a tremendous, tremendous broadcaster. Jay Crawford said he's the best local broadcaster he'd ever come across. And I tend to believe him. So it's a heavy heart that we wish the Browns, the Donovan family, and anyone associated all of our thoughts and prayers and continued support as they go through these tough times. As for the game today, as I'm watching, guys, and we can get into specifics in a second, but oh my goodness,
what a game.
I don't know who to blame, but there is no way in any world I'm buying the fact that the Browns had these quarterbacks in camp and in practice on a week-to-week basis and decided that Deshaun was giving them the best chance to win in weeks 1 through 7. And I don't want to turn this into an anti-Deshaun thing. I want to focus this on how well Jameis played. But it was a night and day offense, guys, like completely night and day. And I don't know if it's a Stefanski call, if it's an AB call, if it's an ownership call, if it's a Dorsey call. But the season was sabotaged by whoever's decision that was to continue trotting Deshaun out there, because it's evident he was not the best quarterback on this roster this year. He was the highest paid quarterback, but he is not the best quarterback on this roster. And had Jameis started the season 8 games in, I don't know, the Browns could be 4-4, maybe 5-3. They lost a bunch of one-score games with the worst quarterback playing football. You give me half-competent player, you give me what we got today from Jameis. This is a winning football team.
Let's not go crazy
playoff
now
contention,
with this
not contending for the number 1 overall pick. That was my big takeaway. Earl, you touched on Jameis G. You gave us the emotional.
Don't get too crazy.
What did you think of Jameis in his first start for the Browns?
Jameis was good.
Now that we got the tearjerkers out of the way, let's get to the brass tacks of what you came to watch D. Bush for. Let me talk about this man, Jameis Winston. Dog.
Welcome back, brother.
Let me get back and ready to go. Let me tell you this. Sean King called me when I was sick last week, and he said, G. Bush, I'm telling you. I thought it was a bill collector. I said, who is this from Tampa? He said, yo, this is, hey, go ahead and pick the phone up.
He asked me for your number, and I said, make sure you text him first, because he don't even answer my text or my call, so I know he ain't going to answer you.
I was under the covers. He said, yo, get up. I think Jameis Winston got something. Do not put a ceiling on him. And I want to tell all Cleveland fans this. Learn from what we did with Joe Flacco. Tomorrow, it's going to be a group of individuals that are going to say, well, he need to pump the brakes on this. It's just one game. Get the hell off of my lawn. We is 1-6. Don't you play no games with me. You're going to sit here and pour cold water on the Kool-Aid Mafia. Do you understand what famous Jameis is bringing to the table? He was preaching this morning. He said, hallelujah. The Lord woke him up, and the Lord gave us that ending drive. I'm going to tell you what. You see Kevin Stefanski? He saved his whole situation. And let me tell you something, Kevin. Let me tell you, Kev.
The Lord made the Ravens drop those interceptions.
You know why? It take a lot of heart. It take a man to say, you know what? Let me hand this over. Let that man do his job. And guess what? It paid off for you. It pays off when you can delegate. It pays off when you put faith in other people to do a job. And right now, Jameis Winston did something that I don't think a lot of people think about. This man led a fourth quarter drive when it could have went all to hell. He led a fourth quarter drive out of nowhere, and all of a sudden, McNuggets, on Monday, we're going to talk about the offensive line don't look old. DeJuan Jones looked like it. What? Cedric Tillman. Elijah Moore ran one of the best routes I've seen him run ever, and the defense banded together and got to stop when they need it. That's what I call inspiration, and that's what I call drinking the Kool-Aid. The Mafia, we back.
Bro, he had 334, 115.
Yeah, the Ravens, I heard, dropped 5 interceptions.
3 touchdowns and no interceptions.
Tugger missed a bunch of kicks.
99 yards a game after going
the game looked like it was
1 yard.
My guy.
How about this?
My guy.
Yo, God, Mike, how about this? Elijah Moore, 12 targets. A team high 12 targets for Elijah
85
Moore.
receiving yards.
85 receiving yards and 8 receptions. Hey, want some more? Yeah. Jerry Jeudy, 79 yards receiving, 5 receptions off of 8 targets. And then David Njoku with 61 and a touchdown. And Poe Eddie Jackson, man, he couldn't do a damn thing with David Njoku the entire game. But this was fun, right? We've been waiting to have some damn fun watching the Cleveland Browns all season long, and we finally got it. No more 4 yards per play. No more wondering if the Cleveland Browns can score 20 points. No more wondering if we can get at least 200 yards passing from our quarterback. Like, this feels good, man. Like, last year we was wacko with Flacco. Like, we about to ride with 5, man, all the way for the rest of the season. Somebody go
ride
back
with
to
5,
play, man, because he preached a good sermon. And, like, he deserves his coins.
Let's keep it on the planet.
One sec. Let me just point out one very clear thing so people don't get mad at us. Jameis could have thrown 15 interceptions today. Like, the Ravens dropped a bunch of interceptions.
Okay, now we got some.
That doesn't matter because it didn't happen. They didn't
catch
it.
This guy pointed out
just
that
Jameis
could have thrown 15 and dropped the ball so many times.
Give me a thumbs up that you acknowledge the fact that he could have thrown interceptions. Give me a thumbs up. Earl, give me a thumbs up that you acknowledge the fact that it could have been.
It don't matter. I tweeted out today. It could have been ugly. It could have.
That's what I'm saying.
Who cares? We did it for Jimmy. All I'm saying is Lamar could have threw the same amount. Did you see how many crossbody throws?
They also said that Lamar.
I just ridiculous saying that so people don't try to say, "Well, you're no." We understand what could have been.
No, we listen. I'm gonna claim that. What are you talking about? I'm an unapologetic homer. What are you talking about? We was 1-6 in the Civil War, and you want us to talk about almost interceptions when we saw most of them? No, we're not gonna do that.
I don't want people to say, well, you're making excuses now. We acknowledge the fact that he could have thrown picks. Jameis also did about 7 things we haven't seen a quarterback do in the Browns uniform.
2-6 now. Right?
We saw him, and regardless of who's calling plays, that was still the Kevin Stefanski playbook. They ran a ton of under center play action shots, just like we had talked about how Jameis ran at A&M back in New Orleans. They ran a ton of Cincinnati. He talked about how the crossing routes were wide open against Cincinnati, and Deshaun was just opting for the checkdowns as opposed to kind of hanging in the pocket, letting them develop. When the quarterback isn't escaping the pocket as quickly and the guys know where he's going to be, it's a little easier to block. Kudos to you. As soon as they mentioned him on the broadcast,
that's why
they got the immediate false start after. But for the most part, I thought DeJuan did a hell of a job in his first career start at left tackle. Jameis was delivering some bullets downfield. His average depth of target was nearly twice what we've become accustomed to as Browns fans this season. And the very next play after throwing what should have been a gift-wrapped interception to end the game, he throws a perfectly thrown 38-yard deep ball to Cedric Tillman to win the game against one of the defenses that some considered the best in football. This was exactly what you could have hoped for from Jameis Winston. It was more.
Well, the Ravens have one of
and
the
it
best
delivered
defenses
every
at the
aspect
beginning of the
that
season,
Jameis
but they haven't
brings.
played up to
Fun,
being one of the best defenses this
unpredictability,
year.
and a calming presence
So
that
let's
you have
not
a true
think
professional
it's the
under
greatest
center. That's
thing.
not a knock on anyone else. That's just purely Jameis Winston. And last thing, Earl and G, I'm curious if you guys noticed this, and Earl, I want to start with you. It felt like he was making checks.
He was making checks at the line.
At the line of scrimmage in ways that I'm not quite sure they trusted previous guys to do. There was in the first half, it was the screen when they were in the red zone.
But Jameis, don't assume that those plays were
up. It didn't work, but he checked to the right play and then give Kyle Hamilton credit for making a great play. It seemed like he had commanded the offense.
Don't think that Jameis just didn't make the changes against coaches' orders, because he's done stuff against coaches' orders before. Hello. All right. Having some trouble here. Once again. Refresh. Look at that. Okay. Well, the Bengals are no good either. What about the Steelers? Oh, here's the guy. Here's the scores.
Making checks at the line of scrimmage in ways that I'm not quite sure they trust. Previous guys to do. There was in the first half, it was the screen when they were in the red zone.
What
he
Buffalo
saw the
do?
zero blitz come and check to the screen. It ended up getting blown up. It didn't work, but he checked to the right play and then give Kyle Hamilton credit for making a great play. It seemed like he had command of the offense in ways that I'm not quite sure I'd seen over the first couple of games of the season.
I think if that's just him being a savvy veteran, I think to me,
savvy veteran.
Mike, you spoke to it. Like it seemed like with Jameis though, like a dark cloud is starting to pass from over the Cleveland Browns. And what do I mean by that? Like pregame stuff, right? Just the little things like social media, like the Browns being featured on SportsCenter social media, NFL.com social media, right? All the Jameis Winston pregame speeches, like just being put out there. All of a sudden, it's not a bad thing to, want to root for the Browns or joke around with a player with the Cleveland Browns on a national platform. All of a sudden, like, it just seems like there's an energy boost. Like, here it is, this man is out here praising God, and nobody is throwing shade at him for talking about religion before a game. It just seems like
everybody does. Every team does that.
To the table, it's contagious. People are buying it. Like, somebody texted me earlier today and said, man, I'm a Colts fan, and I think Jameis Winston is my favorite player. But, like, we speak to energy being contagious all the time. And clearly he's a high-energy dude, right? He leans on a higher power more than he does anything else.
High power
to see him
and high turnovers.
One of the things that I really like, I'm not sure everybody else paid attention to during this game. Remember the catch that Njoku had on the sideline that was reversed, and they called it an incomplete? And Njoku is signaling for Stefanski to throw the challenge flag. Winston is telling everybody to huddle up. Let's stay focused. Let's get back to the huddle. Let's get ready to run the next play. And that's the first time that we've seen that from a quarterback on the field this year. It's like, don't get caught up in the BS of the moment. Let's stay focused and let's keep handling our business. And so you see a guy that got not only commanded our offense, but he has commanded the football team.
Listen, I think one of the things that we take, and I said this before, like, some people say, hey, we're going to go with DTR. And I said, listen, no disrespect to DTR. Jameis Winston is a former first overall pick. Jameis Winston has done it at a high level at every
Who's
level.
DTR as
this
a quarterback?
Man threw for 5,000 yards in the year.
DTR.
It's no question Winston, when you talk about people thought maybe Flacco was better than him. No, he's not. Joe Flacco is not the same level talent as Jameis Winston. The problem with Jameis is sometimes you saw today, he could put because he's aggressive and he needs to put the ball in certain places. He thinks he can do that. He's going to throw interceptions. But let me tell you this. Let me remind you of what we went through last week. We talked about the check down, captain check down. We talked about all the underneath routes. We talked about how the offense was stagnant. We talked about how nobody looked like they're open. The reality is, everybody and fans looking at home, you have to take those risks in order to open those things up. If he didn't almost throw those interceptions, he would have never threw the touchdown to Cedric Tillman. If he didn't almost do some of those things, the Baltimore Ravens would have been by the line of scrimmage, just waiting to feast on these short routes. So that's unintended consequences of being aggressive. That's what it is. But you see what happens when you do hit. I just want people to say this, man. We shouldn't get caught up in the rest of the season talking about if he's the long-term answer and if he's not the long-term answer, or what do you see? Like, at some point, we got to stop picking apart these games, live in the moment, and understand they just beat one of the best damn football teams in the league when their quarterback, when Lamar Jackson was playing like a Superman. Like this dude, they beat one of the best teams in the world with all of this stuff going on. So listen, let's lock in and start talking about what we see and stop talking about the future. Jameis Winston, I'm telling you, if he continues down this trajectory, everything after that will take care of itself. His contract, what they're going to do with him, but it's game after game after game. And the thing I love the most, McNuggets, and I'm going to toss it back to you, is I love to see him on the sidelines talking, communicating. This is what I'm seeing, encouraging, touching people, showing people, doing all that good stuff. Those are soft skills that a quarterback has to have. And the thing about Jameis Winston is he is gifted in that respect. He's special when he gets guys to buy in and do what he needs to do. That was not Deshaun Watson's the biggest suit. That was not the strength of his. This is, you're seeing guys play hard, and that energy, that enthusiasm, that is infectious to the team. And I think that's one of the biggest traits that Jameis Winston has.
Two responses to your thing, G, that I want to get to something that we have to talk about next. Jameis, very good football player, even better teammate. If there was one thing Jameis is elite at, it's being a teammate. Ask anyone who's ever played with him. You could see it, as you alluded to. Also, in terms of the aggressiveness, throwing the ball downfield, it also opens up things in the run game.
Well, the only reason Jameis
run the ball terrific,
a good teammate, he's been on every damn team.
Great, 23 rushes for 80 yards. But it felt like when they needed to get some yards on the ground, they were able to open up some creases. And part of that is the cornerbacks aren't sitting 3 yards off the line of scrimmage knowing we don't have to backpedal because they're not going to throw the ball beyond that. But you want to talk about the here and the now, G. Let's give the defense some kudos because, yes, Jameis and the offense played well. But the defense held a Baltimore offense that had been
these guys are all up for the defense
for the last 4 weeks of the year.
They're trying to say the Cleveland defense
to their worst offensive output since week 2. And this was an offense that came in averaging 250 yards in the air, 150 yards on the ground per game. Derrick Henry had been unstoppable. He had one run for 40 yards today. Outside of that one long run, he had 10 carries for 30 yards, averaged 3 yards per carry. Lamar had a couple scrambles. Overall, he was held in check. Lamar's final passing numbers a little inflated due to some late game, not garbage time numbers, but when they were playing conservative.
It was 29-24. They weren't garbage.
They made stops when they had to. They got pressure.
This guy said he had
sacks, a couple big tackles for losses. They should have had more turnovers. They didn't pick off Lamar Jackson. But the defense just
felt like they garbage yards on the Cleveland. The Ravens were going down.
They were more invigorated from start to finish, knowing, hey, we're not going to be on the field 37 seconds after we come off the field. We may be able to give a little bit more effort or put a little more. That's your big third down
idea of holding a
team. The offense to give us a break and put some points on the board. I thought it was
the best defensive effort
of the season as well. Even if the numbers don't back that up, considering the opponent, the situation, the circumstances, I thought it was a hell of a defensive performance, and hopefully JOK and Denzel.
Even though the statistics, the reality, and everything else doesn't
being evaluated for his 6th concussion.
We're going to call that a great defensive play day for the Cleveland.
Movement in his extremities, which is a good sign, but without those two late, the Browns still came up in the biggest moments.
Prayers up to Jock, prayers up to Denzel Ward. I think what you just said, Mike, though, I think that's a combination of two things: having faith in the offense and the quarterback, and then just the play calling.
Well,
right?
I would give this
when
a few days to everybody because when you're going on Jameis Winston, he's insane.
And then when you look at
what
Ken
was
Dorsey
going
did
on
with
there.
the play calling, I thought he did a phenomenal job. Right?
Changed
like we kept talking about this whole spread and all. Like Jameis was under center, like it was play action, but when Kevin Stefanski actually stepping back and overseeing everything, I just
Jameis Winston
is he finally had that
pulled out every team he's ever been on.
I need to
all the teammates he's ever played for and every coach, and so
then just trust the people
it's going to happen again
to do their job.
for Cleveland
I thought
this year.
Dorsey caught a
These guys going
phenomenal
to put him in the
game.
Hall
I thought
of
he
Fame.
played to what Jameis Winston does well. I get it. Jameis could have made some bonehead interceptions out there, but he was trying to make plays. And you can say that about Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson threw 3 passes across his body that could have easily been picked off, but he was just out there trying to make plays. Like, football just seems fun again in Cleveland. And this is a confidence builder. This is a game that you absolutely needed to have.
Didn't Cleveland beat
not even taking
last year?
Playoffs a long-term future. We just having fun staying in the moment and taking it a week at a time. But this is the one day that we needed to unite us, right? Like last Sunday, man, it just seemed like it was fans versus media. It was players versus fans. It seemed like people was just being mean, harsh, and cruel to each other. And you wake up today, and because of the unfortunate news that we got yesterday about Jim Donovan, you seen us as Browns fans come back together, unite, and really just be there for each other. Like, you don't see the bickering going on today amongst fans, amongst each other. Like, people just want to have fun, are thankful and happy that we got this win. If we want to get to critiquing the team, we'll get back to that next week. But this was fun. I thought DeJuan Jones was great in his first game at left tackle, as we mentioned earlier. He had that one penalty, but overall, I don't think the receivers dropped the ball at all today. I don't think I've seen one drop out there today. So Greg Newsome got the dance. Ain't nobody gonna talk about him dancing this week. He can go out there, get his boogie on.
He made a nice play at the end of that game.
Yeah.
Real nice breakup.
My boy they had a nice play. So hey,
it's a great win. It's a great. You're 11. Whatever the final line was, you're essentially a double-digit home underdog, and you won. And before you go,
double-digit.
They were double-digit on Denzel Ward, according to Mary Kay.
A double-digit
confirmed 6 concussions, second of the season for Denzel Ward.
I would have bet for that.
Obviously, not good news.
That's too much for any team.
We'll see how long it keeps him out.
That's right.
But a 6th concussion, he is entering that territory of
double-digit
is
home
the next
underdog.
one, the last one, and that
they're trying to say that there's no way that's true.
It's a scary thought for a guy who's an incredibly talented football player.
Listen, I appreciate all the people that I thought it was the JOK injury was very scary. I was really praying for that and shout out about that. Denzel, hopefully, situation, he might need to think about wearing one of them halos, one of them that JOK is wearing, because it's a lot of concussions for him, and we don't want his career to end prematurely. But I want to go back to the Dorsey thing, and what I want people to do is I'm going to resist doing this. Right. And I think this is a lot that has to do with where we're at kind of a little bit when we talk about the Browns. You got to give it's no knock against Kevin Stefanski. I'm not going to use that against him and say, well, look how great Dorsey did. Look how good he did. And we should have been doing that from the jump street. No, he made the decision. And at some point in time, why don't we have to start saying to ourselves, maybe Kevin Stefanski is making his own decisions. Maybe we have him all wrong. Maybe why can't nobody change his mind? People talk about, he's been calling plays from the jump street. He didn't want to give up the play calling. But Kevin Stefanski on record, can you find one time that Kevin Stefanski did not say, I'm a collaborative guy and I will make the best decision that gives us the best chance to win, right? Didn't they say that?
He says collaborative.
He always says that.
Well, we're proud in Baltimore that we have a damn NFL football coach who's never going to describe himself as a collaborator.
He made the decision. At least he went ahead and said, look, Dorsey, do your thing. I'm going to trust you to call your plays, and the confidence level that you put in other people. You saw the way Dorsey was calling that game. You saw the flow. You saw the energy. You saw the plan of attack. And he not only said that, he was like, listen, I do it a different way. I thought he was going to make him stay on the sidelines. Nope. He let him go right back to the booth, his comfort zone. And now is one person in the coach's ear. I also thought that I saw Kevin Stefanski doing some things on the sideline I haven't seen him do yet. Bubba Ventrone came up to him at the end of the game. Hey, whoa. No. You noticed that?
Oh, yeah.
I said, okay, Kev.
That's a great meme. That's going to be a Browns Twitter meme for the next 10 years.
He found, I think he actually found it enjoyable in a different vantage point on the sidelines. I saw him with Jim Schwartz. We never saw that. We saw them coordinating and doing things like that. So for me, I'm going to give him credit because he could have rolled this sinking ship all the way down by the Titanic, but he didn't.
Hold on, G. You got to give him credit for one more thing. We don't know this to be
Jim Schwartz
certain,
is
but we know Kevin Stefanski as the play caller is very aggressive, right?
Right.
Now we've known before he got here, Ken Dorsey is not as
Jim
aggressive
Schwartz.
as Kevin, right?
Baltimore.
That fourth down that we kicked the field goal and didn't go for it. Kudos to Kevin for letting Ken Dorsey do his job and not in that moment, like being the boss and be like, you know what, this situational, let me do this. You know what I mean? Because clearly, if that was Kevin making that decision, they was gonna go for it. So you could tell, even with those situational moments, who was making said plays.
If it's a decision like that, the head coach is usually still making the decision, not the play caller on that.
Yeah, but you know what, though? I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna ask somebody who's in there, in the press conference. But I'm gonna go ahead and say this was Ken, based on what we know. We know for a fact that Kevin.
Well, I don't think. I think the head coach still makes those decisions.
We know for a fact that Ken Dorsey
who's going to go for it.
You look at the yardage, you look at the distance. The data shows you that when Ken Dorsey was the play caller in Buffalo, they didn't go for it in those situations. Kevin Stefanski, he goes for it in those situations.
So goes for it.
For me,
Dorsey
I'm gonna give Kev some love and say he allowed Ken Dorsey to make that decision.
He allowed Ken Dorsey to make those decisions.
I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Well, then make Ken Dorsey the damn head coach.
Caller because we wanted to figure out what the root of the issue was.
If Ken Dorsey is so magnificent,
really I like the game plan.
Why isn't the head coach?
Sequence plays together. I like the way he came back to certain things.
Stefanski doesn't call the plays.
I'm curious what Kevin Stefanski calling plays would look like with a quarterback that can do some of the things we saw Jameis do today.
Well, if Kevin Stefanski doesn't make the play calls and he doesn't decide to go for it on fourth down,
we'll never find out.
Exactly, is he
we'll find out for the next couple of weeks because he has no intention of giving the play calling back to or taking it back from Ken Dorsey.
Man.
But whatever worked today, don't change it because it was the best the offense has looked since week 17 last year against the New York Jets. And think about how long ago that game was.
So
that was
unpredictable and always goes down.
That's almost 10 months since we've seen a competent offense from this Cleveland Browns organization. And they changed both at the same time. And it ended up working out. And if anyone tries to finagle with it now, back the you-know-what up. Like, stay away. It's 1 week. It doesn't mean it's fixed forever. But right now, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I love the way
it's still broke. They say if it's broke, after today, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
The middle,man, however they ended
still
up
broke,
setting up the communication, the play calling,
can't be serious with
overall
Jameis
connection
Winston.
of plays together. Don't touch it because you got. Is it New Orleans next week or is it the Chargers next week?
The Chargers next week.
Chargers next week.
That's
a physical defense. It'll give you a similar test that what you saw from Baltimore today, and I love the way the Browns attacked it. So I'm not touching and tinkering with anything because what we saw this week worked pretty damn well.
No, and here's and I know this is going to be, and here's the urge. We're going to, and I'm going to just raise my hand. I'm going to just like opt out of it. Moving forward. I'm not getting drugged back into no. Well, it was the Watson thing. Look at the night and day. Listen, bro, we moving forward. Jameis Winston is playing good football. We saw something. We want to continue that
Jameis Winston
this week. But listen.
You're not done
some of the
drama
of
with
our population.
Deshaun
Once
Watson.
again, we're not going to let you drag us back down into this is what we thought was going to happen, and I knew this was going. And did you see the difference? I don't know what's going on. He should never, bro. We're not on that no more. you're gonna have to go to your chat rooms and your chat boards for that. I'm not giving you no more topics on it. I'm not
no more negative topics now.
I'm not tweeting you back. Listen, y'all can go in your corner and dig a hole and talk amongst the 5 or 6 people, but the Cleveland Browns won a great football game today. Nick Chubb is back. Cedric Tillman looks like he's a guy. Offensive line looks like they can play a little bit. Kevin Stefanski trying to show some growth, and you still talking about a guy that's on your team that is injured for the rest of the year. Stop the games, fellas. Enjoy the football. I will. I'm drinking all of the
They said Cleveland's all turned the page on Deshaun Watson. He's out for the year.
Give us your thoughts on
the whole culture of the team.
Wait, hold on. G, here's something that's fact. Mikey gonna like.
They don't want to hear no disrespect.
Players in Cleveland right now. Cedric Tillman.
Man, I wish the Raven fans were like this.
I'm telling you, I need a Cedric Tillman jersey, and I need a Ty Jerome jersey.
Earl, you gonna jump back on the Ty Jerome? You ain't nothing. I ain't been there a whole week.
Hey,
you jump back on Ty. I see
his
balling.
He's balling since last year.
Ty Jerome going in 6 minutes.
The Browns are never good because they think this is the greatest thing in the history.
He's gonna be a player sometime.
Hey, but Big Nuggets, I think you do. Listen, Big Nuggets, you're right. I'm gonna give you the floor. I'm gonna give you your time. You're the only person.
If you get this positive after one regular season,
he was already out of here.
Upset.
You're the only person that came to the going away party. You bought dip and you bought hors d'oeuvres and a fruit tray. Listen, talk about your boy Cedric Tillman. Get your victory lap on because he was balling.
Yeah, go ahead,
2 weeks in a row, get your victory lap.
2 weeks is not a full victory lap, but at least the preparations for the victory
They're having a victory parade.
Like, I've made a phone call to pick out the route for the victory parade on the Cedric Tillman resurgence. Here's what I saw from Cedric Tillman, then we'll read some super chats. Last year was mental. He had the physical tools. Like, he's 6'3". He's a big body. He's athletic. He's fast enough. Has pretty good hands. But he just couldn't get on the same page as the quarterbacks last year. And I go back to the Chicago game specifically, where Joe Flacco was
the fans
on the sideline for running the wrong route. Whether it was the playbook, whether it was the memory, whether it was choice routes and hot routes that he wasn't seeing. It wasn't physical. It was just mental. And I thought with a second year in an offense with the same coaching
it wasn't just
staff,
mental. It wasn't just
coach,
physical. It was
similar systems, but new terminology, whatever that may be. He had the tools to be successful. He just needed the opportunity and a better understanding of what the Browns were trying to accomplish. And you've seen the last 2 weeks. When his number's been called in a system he understands better, he has come through in ways that the Browns have been begging a receiver that they drafted in the later round to come through. I don't know, and we could do this tomorrow. If you take his stats from the last 2 weeks, G, I think he has like 16 catches for over 200 yards or just under 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. We could add all the Browns receivers of their 3rd and 4th round picks in the last 3 years outside of Tillman and them together. I'm not sure you're getting that much production from all of them combined. So yes, the victory parade on Cedric Tillman is being planned, but we are not there yet. Earl, last thoughts, and then we'll wrap up and do some.
Well, if you do the by that thoughts,
Donovan, a great man. I think I speak for all 3 of us who cover.
Actually, has 100. We'll have 128 catches.
To know that it's an honor and a privilege to cover sports in the same building as he did, and so we understand that there's a standard here, and we walk in here. But we try to put our best foot forward every day. Thoughts and prayers to Cheryl, because I know a lot of you all felt under attack by the media. You felt under attack by some of the players, and you hung in there. You showed up on this Sunday to cheer for your team, to support your team, proud, and you got a victory today. So, victory Monday for everybody. If your boss say something crazy and out the way, look at him sideways, man. Let him know you got that dog in you.
G, final thoughts, and then we'll do some super chats.
Hey, man, shout out to Jim Donovan. Was looking down on us. The Browns got this win today. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we 2-6 right now. But look, man, we looking forward to more entertaining football throughout the rest of the season. And you know how we give it up, man, on UCSS, man. They be calling us clowns all the time, but put some respect on it. Hey, man, it's big circus to you. Let's get it going, Big Nuggets.
All respect.
My last thought is
all respect for these guys.
I wonder if Tampa Bay, who now has a turnover-prone quarterback,
I think they're being.
That's all I can think about right now. Like, I just wonder, are they like, damn, man, what if we still had Jameis? So that's gonna do it For our Bleacher Report session of the show, we're going to get some super chats in on the YouTube segment of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, 2-minute warning show. If you want to hear the super chats, find us on YouTube. Just search us on YouTube. Shout out to Bleacher Report for hosting the post-game show. We'll see you guys tomorrow on Bleacher Report.
Peace.
Now for the super chats. It's funny. We have like 60 when they lose. When they win, we got 15.
I'm a sell.
Which goes to show drama sells in that regard. But we are going to celebrate a dub in the only way we know how. That's a big victory Monday. Mr. I crap and shit says, did we just see DeJuan Jones play a better left tackle than Jim Wills?
Yeah, we got him up out here. First game. That little meme that was going around where he was like, that set him all the way down.
Yeah, bro's inactive today. He's going to be inactive for the rest of the season, too.
Left tackle is DeJuan Jones now until it's not.
It's a further notice. Yeah.
I mean, Nuggets, it was funny. It'd be like you have a parent that worked a lot, and so basically you just dealing with one parent, and then that one parent be home for a couple of days and be like, when the hell did he get this bad? You'd be like, dang, bro, my kid is that bad? Yeah, your kid be doing this every day, all day. And Kevin Stefanski watched that film and was like, what the hell is this? He got to sit down.
Hey, shout out to DeJuan. Had a hell of a game in his first career start at left tackle. SG said forward was the problem the whole time. A completely different team. So this guy says, how about Cedric Tillman? This was for Jimmy Screw, Art Modell. Dallas Mail says, about damn time. Set apart Laz for saying, I apologize for talking up Watson like that. Brody's bottom line said, I like this show, but this is not the same game plan Deshaun had. Jim, what do you think about that? Was it a similar game plan to how they tried? And the keyword is tried.
Yeah, let's go zip ahead. I don't want to do this, guys.
Game plan for what
These are one.
For the team to overcome. Adam Jet says, G, what you said to start about Jim Donovan was beautiful, but forget you for making me choke up. GG's fam. Halim says, give Moore some love. Finally, hey, he got his best game as a Brown, probably his second best game as a Pro. G, you alluded to some of the route running. There was a big third down conversion. He had a nice little outbreaking route.
All right. Well, I'm going to wrap this one up.
Jameis put in a bucket over his shoulder. That's the Elijah Moore Andrew Gray thought he was trading for.
I thought Elijah Moore couldn't play football no more. I really thought Elijah forgot how to play football. Like, maybe
this was big.
Watch the last minute of this.
I mean, foot all on a neck, just
stomp it out.
Stomp the yard. Gee, I like the basketball equation. I don't want to put everything on Deshaun because it wasn't just him. Like, there were other issues clearly.
The ball has energy, right? When the ball's hopping around and you get in the ball, you feel more intact. You feel more a part of the game. So the little mundane things that you normally don't do, that you know, are like blocking and doing things like that. You're like, man, you go through the motions a little bit.
And running clear out routes, like the Elijah Moore clear out routes earlier. Yeah.
So from
clear out route.
You know, you can say, hey, if that's what makes everybody feel great, say, listen, it was all Deshaun Watson. Enjoy the damn game. Enjoy the win. You got the win. Listen, I ain't got to. Sometimes you mentioned Earl talk about going on dates. Sometimes it's just nice to go on a date. Are you gonna marry that person? No, but you had a nice dinner in the movie, man. It was great, good conversation, and you feel good about yourself coming home. Like, hey, man, that might be something. Right now, we need to stop jumping from relationship to relationship and just have a nice couple of dates the rest of the year.
We're just kicking it with James right now.
Nobody made take Deshaun Watson.
We ain't doing.
That's our relationship with fine.
Yeah, we just chilling. We cool
right now. You know,
we got a couple more super chats and we'll wrap it up. Chubba Wubba Hub says this team looked completely different than what we've seen this year. That's going to be one of our talking points tomorrow on UCSS. Paul A says, okay, new play caller, new quarterback, great defense, but they just win that game for Jimmy Donovan. We love you, Jimmy. Tech T to go says, thank you, Ken Dorsey. Our offense played at a different level. Chris Townsend said, Jones, new left tackle. Creative Juice. After today, Kevin can't replace Jameis with DTR without possibly losing the locker room. This is now Winston's team moving forward.
You know who
Mr. Crap and Shit says, is Winston getting free crab legs this week?
Here you go. Here you go. You leave the man alone. We're not doing it no more. Don't you find something?
I think he is. I think the owner of Peter W told him, come on, man. Just come get whatever you want. James can get free whatever this week, bro.
Yeah. And last but not least,
3 touchdowns, no picks, man. You can get whatever the hell you
to the UCSS Papa shot. If he's going to throw 3 touchdowns and 300 yards. That's our best offer. And James May says, do not break this team up. The Browns will be fine. The Browns are 2-6, which sounds a whole hell of a lot better than 1-7, boys. And the best part, tomorrow is now Victory Monday.
Victory Monday.
I get to choose my Kool-Aid flavor.
Don't be saying a thing about Kool-Aid anymore, though. It's not a good term to use. You know where it started.
Browns are 1-0.
It has very, very serious.
Branding right there, Earl.
It would be like
1-0.
using a phrase that connects to
listen, I'm not going to start the 9-0 Kool-Aid.
Hey, did you hear the Wiz? Did y'all hear the Wiz on Retirement Show?
These guys are too young. Maybe they don't know. Look it up.
Did y'all see
Look
the
up
Wiz?
what the term Kool-Aid came from.
Wiz made a case that we was going
use it 100 times in your damn podcast.
9-0 Kool-Aid. Listen, what we doing? Get my Kool-Aid flavors ready.
Stop
we'll see
using
you
it.
tomorrow
Keep using it.
Cleveland Sports Show. For G,
yeah, it's not something fun.
McNuggets, and we got Earl of Pearl. I messed that one up, but it's okay. I'm on 2 hours of sleep. I made it back from the wedding in one piece to see the Browns kick the Ravens' ass.
Go Browns! Long live Jimmy Donovan. Peace.
Long live the king.
All right. That's the news from yeah. Because McMahon is an asshole. All the cool wrestlers, the coolest wrestlers, got rejected by. The coolest wrestlers, Andre the Giant. Who's the guy? Oh, the guy in Minnesota, you know. Jesse Ventura and The Rock are the 3 coolest wrestlers. And they all hated Hulk Hogan, and they all. Jim McMahon. Hulk Hogan was the worst thing anyone could be. Next to MAGA is he was a rat, and so you got no time for him. What you gonna do, brother? What you gonna do, brother? Yeah, he destroyed everybody's career. Sad. Andre the Giant must have been like in deep bankruptcy or something and had to admit to, or had to agree to lose. The amount of money. He was retiring just to help out the wrestling. Yeah, but wasn't like throughout the 80s, and wasn't he a good guy? So was he one of the good guys? Wasn't he always considered good? I mean, it's good, like the guy you root for. And then they turned him, then they made him the bad guy. All right, everybody. That's the end of this stream, and we will talk to y'all later. Good luck to everybody. Everybody have a great Sunday night. All right. That's